I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2I TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week. Like T2I TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp +44 759 1152 983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2I TV. We engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Step Out Authors Corner. And tonight is another night where we are going to have a powerful discussion with a woman, a lady, that she has got an inspiring story that is going to inspire you also. Now, if you are watching us, the first thing I want you to do is to share this for somebody to have an opportunity to watch it. Because trust me, this story is an amazing, a challenging, and emotional story. But the end is what is going to keep us motivated. Now, if you are also watching us, I would like us to like our page on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, before I go on to our guest, I would like to mention a few of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy. That is your business training and consulting firm. Train to Inspire also works with schools and colleges and universities in relation to the personal development of students. Also, ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says it doesn't matter. ALS says it doesn't matter the challenges you are facing at the port. Call them and they will sort you out. Then ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. ZPay just launched their USSD code for mobile money. That's *270#. Just dial it on your phone and register for ZPay mobile money. Then Wheels for Sure, your car leasing for every credit. Rules for sure says it doesn't matter your credit. You can walk out of the garage with a car of your choice. Now, during COVID-19, a lot of people are afraid to even take public transport, but they don't have the means to drive the car of their choice. Rules for sure says contact them and you are going to walk out of the garage with the car of your choice. When you contact them, code T2I 2020 and you will be sorted out. Now, if you want to contact any of our sponsors, then their contact details are scrolling on the screen. Take them and contact them. Also, if you want to support what we are doing or you want to sponsor any of our programs, take the number for T2Y TV UK or Train to Inspire Consultancy. Contact us and we are going to work with you. Now, let me go straight to business because we've got a lot to discuss today. My guest is already seated and we have got an amazing story to share with you. Now, who is on the hot seat today? I have started following her on social media and her passion, her drive to make a difference is something that is home to write about. And she is a mom, an autism ambassador. She is also a very passionate writer, special needs parent, coach and mentor, and a talk show host. She is in a person of Claris Angafor. Please welcome to the Step Out Authors Corner, and you are live on T2I TV UK.
Thank you so much.
How has your day been?
My day has been good. It's been okay. Working from home. Sometimes you don't really know the difference, but it's been good. And I was equally looking forward to our conversation tonight. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you also for really taking your time to be on the show. And for those that are watching us for the first time, this is one of the segments of our programs, and that is the Step Out Authors Corner. This is where we interview authors for them to share a snippet of their books and also for them to really tell us why they even made the decision to even write a book or become an author. And tonight, our guest, that is Claris Angafor, is the author of the book From Grief to Great. And trust me, I have had the opportunity to look at the book, and it's a powerful book that I will recommend everybody to have the book. But before I go on into straight to business, who is Claris Angafor in your own ways?
Thank you so much, Oscar. Like you said, I'm Claris Angafor. I'm a mom, a wife, obviously. Then, apart from being a mom or being a wife, I do work for the NHS as a data validator. So since the COVID started, I've been working from home. Then, other than having to go into work or to work for someone, I'm quite a passionate lady in what I believe in. In that case, I'm an autism ambassador or an advocate. I'm also, and because of being an autism ambassador, I also coach and mentor special needs parents or parents who have autistic children or parents who have a child with any special educational needs. So I mentor and I coach them to be able to go through those fears that come along parenting a child with special needs. Then I'm also a talk show host and a couple of other things which I'm really passionate about, which we are going to discuss here. And then I'm still learning to introduce myself as an author. So I'm also an author.
Wow. So today you have changed seat. Today you are guest and I'm the host. So I think you are going to feel the pain of being a guest when you are bombarding them with questions and just sitting there for them to answer. Wow. Now let's go straight to business. Why did you even decide to write a
book? When I started my awareness journey some time ago, up the lights, when I started my awareness journey sometime ago in about 2015, I actually discovered that there's a message which I have to put out there. That there are people who need to hear my message. But then I was still planning. Just give me 1 second. Let me check my lighting. Okay. Hold on. Just bear with me.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
So I've always had a message which I believe that it's going to change lives. It's going to inspire people out there. But even before I got to the point of putting out that message in the form of a book, at a tragedy occurred, which is what I've actually written inside the book. It occurred, it came, and it was so powerful. The emotions that came along were so powerful that when I started journaling, I felt a difference. I felt I was getting healed. I felt like I was talking to someone who will not judge me. Someone who wasn't going to ask me why I am feeling the way I am feeling, or why I am writing what I'm writing. So after I had written, I wrote quite a lot. I mean, handwritten, not typing on the computer. Then after writing, I discovered that I felt a little bit different. So I thought this must be therapeutic. And I said to myself, if I'm feeling this way just after writing, then what about people who will read so it may make a difference? So that's how my writing came about.
Yeah.
That's how this book, Grief to Grit, came about, from just journaling to it becoming a book.
So it wasn't like something like you knew within yourself that you were a good writer, but out of circumstances, that is where it just dawned on you that, look, there is a message I have that the world to hear.
I had always loved poetry somehow, even though I was a science student, in between science, arts. So I always loved that aspect of writing. But I'd never knew that someday I would really hold a book of mine. But by 2015, I knew I was going to write a book someday. But I didn't know that by 2020, that book will be ready, because it's going to be a bigger story to this one.
Wow.
At the back of my mind, I knew there was going to be a book somewhere. But I always write, like writing things on my Facebook profile and on blogs, etc. So I knew there was some aspect of writing in me. Something was someday going to come out like a book.
Because I could see, I've been following you on social media, I could see that you are a very passionate writer. You love to write. You don't get tired of writing. You are like me. I see one post, the next 1 hour, there is another post. I'm like, he doesn't sleep.
The thing is, writing to me, it comes with motivation. There's a poem in my book which I just stood in the kitchen. Usually, for your information, my writing happens in the kitchen when I'm cooking. So when I'm standing there stirring my pot, these words just keep coming up. And then I'll just call my 10-year-old, please bring my pen and paper.
Yes.
So once he gives me that pen and paper, the words just keep going on. There were times where I will actually have to jump out of bed and write something because I had a dream. There was this big paragraph that I was reciting, so I had to get up and write it down before I forget in the morning. So, so it comes with motivation as well. If I'm not motivated, I get it. It's like brain freeze, nothing. It's like brain fog or something. Nothing comes up.
Well, because there is the title of your book,
yeah,
From Grief to Grit, it's very catchy. It's an attention seeker. When you hear it, it's like you want to know more about it. How did you come with such a powerful title? How did you come up with such a powerful title?
Yeah, that was the intention. I needed something that will catch attention, that will really get someone to be asking questions. What is she writing about? What is she really saying in the book? I have a friend of mine. He will always tell me, Claris, you've got grit. He always used to say that you've got grit. So I was like, why do you keep saying that to me. He just told me, why don't you go and look up the word greed, and then you look at your story over the years. You look at what you've been doing over the years. So I actually went to the dictionary and I looked at that word greed. I was like, this makes sense. Then my story, of course, has a lot to do with being gritty, with greed, because greed comes with a lot of perseverance. It comes with a lot of courage, passion, conscientiousness, etc. So when I look at my stories, what I've been through, what I've overcome over the years, it's been grit, it's been resilience. And I needed that topic, which if somebody looks at it, the person will not say, oh, this cannot be me, because it resonates with so many people, not only when you've lost a child, with so many circumstances in our lives, being to move from grief to greed. If you look at your life, I don't know about you, apart from just Oscar Pimbo that I've seen on Facebook, but I do want to believe that you look critically into yourself. You've gone through some form of grief, greed. Yes.
Oh yes. My story is already a book. I'm just waiting to write it, because see, we all pass through certain things in different dimensions of our lives.
Exactly.
I always say that some people, their story is on a different dimension. And sometimes when you hear their story, it also inspires you for you to really achieve your goals in life. Yeah. Now, let me really get into what, because you see, after the discussion, that is where people understand what you mean by grief. And that is when people understand what you mean by great.
Yes.
How persistent you are, and how your story is an amazing story. And you know what? People do go and look for jobs, but I believe you have got a job for your life, because this story is a job of its own for you to inspire others. And I think people will really understand after we really delve into your life, for you to tell your story for people to understand. Now, let me zoom into this. Like in 2005, you had a miscarriage. 2017, your baby survived for only 1 hour, 20 minutes. This is something that a lot of women would have been broken down for life. But this is where you are, not shy about your story, telling your story to the whole world.
Yeah.
Now, how does it feel the moment the next thing you hear is that your baby did not make it?
Okay, thank you for that question. Before I actually answered the question, and because you also mentioned that it'll be good for people to see the grief, and then the grit in my story. I've actually experienced 3 episodes in my life where I can actually say this is where I felt grief, where I went through grief. First, you've mentioned the baby I lost in 2005, and then shortly afterwards, I had my 15-year-old. I had him extremely premature. He came earlier at 24 weeks. And then he's growing up with special needs, growing up with autism and other forms of disabilities. And then 2017, and another little baby comes along, but comes unexpectedly and leaves unexpectedly. So those are 3 periods in my life, which have really, shook me.
Wow.
But the irony is that in 2005, because that was my first time to have a baby, and I lost the baby at very early weeks of pregnancy. I could feel it. I could feel that hurt, that pain, that loss within me. But because in our community, nobody really talks about it, nobody really wants to talk about it. So I shut down. I never talked about it. Then with my boy now who is 15, I had him early. Once you've had a baby premature, you grieve the rest of the months that you were going to have that baby in your tummy. You'll grieve that baby you would have had at full term. And then when that baby is growing up with other forms of disabilities, you grieve that baby you would have had without a disability. That's you look at him or her and you are like, okay, my child now is growing up with a disability. What about if I didn't have a child with a disability? So sometimes in your life, you are thinking, I may have had a child without, what would have been my life without the child with a disability? That's grieving. You are going, so you deny, you go through that anger, you bargain, and then depression hits you before you get to that acceptance stage, right? So I actually felt those, but I never really knew that that was grief. It hit me more when I lost the little baby in 2017, when the emotions were so strong, they were so heavy. At some point, I was questioning myself, why am I so hurt? Why am I so angry? And then it was a friend, an 82-year-old friend, who pointed out to me that you were supposed to grieve your son. So everything dawned onto me that I've been going through grief for more than 12 years without knowing, because all the emotions were the anger, mood swings, and anything makes you worried. The anxiety. So with grief, there are about, because in my book, I've actually talked about model of grief, or stages of grief, by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was a psychiatrist. So she looks at grief in five different stages. Even though the way she explains it seems to be like grief has to move in a linear pattern, but it doesn't. So those are the emotions which I went through. You have denial, you have anger, you have bargaining, depression, and then acceptance.
But the
So when I was there when I went into the hospital, I already knew that something was going wrong because of my previous experience. Because what I always say, experience is what you gain when you didn't get what you wanted. So once something tragic happens to you, you are always kind of like alert. Any signal, you're like, something's wrong with me. Can you check me up? So I went into the hospital. At the back of my mind, I knew something was happening. Something was going wrong. So heaven or hell broke loose when my waters broke. And that was when I knew that's the end of it. But at the back of my mind, I was telling myself, I am not going to go down that route of depression and everything else. Even though while saying it, you're kind of empowering yourself, you're kind of being positive that you will know, or you're going to learn, or you're ready to learn how to go through those emotions, rather than before, where I did not really understand, or I did not really know that that's what I was going through. So being aware of what you are going through it's one step of getting help, one step towards healing. So when I was told that you'll be having your baby, but there's absolutely nothing we can do about it, it was like I'm ready to give birth to a baby, and nobody's going to do anything about him, no matter how long he lives. So that's actually where the grief started, because I denied every procedure that had to be done. I said no, even though it was risky. But yes, it. When I look back, sometimes I wonder how I'm capable of smiling now. But then it was a very dark moment. Like I said, you're covered with those emotions of anger, there's denial. And then when there's anger, when there's denial, you obviously have blame that comes in. You blame yourself, you blame everyone around you, you blame the medical practitioners or the medical staff. So for what you thought they would have done right, which they did wrong, you blame yourself for maybe for what, because you'll start asking questions. Is there anything that I did that I didn't do? So yeah, it's a devastating moment for the woman, for the man, for the rest of the family, because you, as the mother, you grieve your little baby. As the father, he grieves his. Unfortunately for the father, he's grieving his baby and he's grieving his wife, because his wife may never be the same person who
exactly.
used to be. Yes, and for your parents, they're grieving their grandson and they're grieving their own daughter who has lost their own baby. Then sisters, they're grieving their sister and grieving their own nephew.
Yeah, but yes. So I want you to briefly talk to me about this, because you talked about acceptance, but a lot of people don't tend to accept. And those that never tend to accept that this is what has happened to me, what really is the outcome of their life?
Sorry, ask the last question again. What
I'm saying is that there are some people, they never tend to accept that this thing has happened to me. So they never get to the stage to really overcome what is happening to them. What are you going to tell those people? What's the outcome of their life, briefly?
Okay. Remember, I mentioned that when you are grieving, you go through this emotional roller coaster, and those emotions, sometimes they are very dangerous, especially when you get stuck in each one of them if you've not arrived at the acceptance stage. So you have denial. You obviously deny. When something tragic happens to you, the first thing that comes to mind is, no, it cannot be me. It cannot be my family. It cannot be my sister. That is denial. And then that anger comes in. You are angry for whatever thing that has happened. And then you kind of start bargaining now with God. Maybe you start asking God, if you just turn this situation around, I will worship your name for the rest of my life. And then when you're angry as well, you tend to lose faith as well, especially in God. Because when a tragic situation happens to people, the first thing that sometimes people say is, why God? Why are you allowing this happen to me? And as human beings, we believe that God is a good God, so he should not allow people to suffer. So this suffering should not happen. But the dangerous thing about grieving for a very long time or not being able to get to that acceptance stage is it may affect you emotionally, it may affect you mentally, especially because once you get stuck for too long in the anger stage, it affects every other thing and your relationships around you. And then you may as well get stuck at the depression stage. And we all know, those who know about depression, we all know how depression can affect you once you don't seek help. And when you get stuck, you won't be able to seek help. When you don't seek either professional help or medical help, it's dangerous for your health, for your health entirely, both physical and mental health.
Wow. Now, on top of all these, you also have a special needs child, that is an autistic child.
Yeah.
Now, have you really sat down and asked yourself, God, why me? Because it looks like everything that comes with childbearing, it is never a good news for you. And you see, when I was reading your book, I was like, this lady is somebody that the queen should award you. You know, because the kind of things that you have passed through is so much to bear. But you, this same lady, you are here having a smile on your face.
Yeah.
How do you manage? How do you manage?
You know why I'm laughing. Sorry, I'm laughing. Then at the same time, I'm having tears. You know why I'm laughing? Because that question of why me, like asking God why me, when I was going through the grief period, I just after losing the baby, at some point I became really superstitious.
Wow.
That's what happens when you can't really find a reason or an answer to whatever thing that's happening to you, to any negative thing that's happening to you over the years. You may become superstitious. You become suspicious of everyone and around you. So I went back to 2005, even 2003 when I got married, and then I struggled a few times to have a visa to come to the UK, right? So I went back and I wrote down every negative thing that happened. So I said, then my big sister was a culprit. Now I called her. Then I said to her, look, 2005, 2004, this is what happened. 2005, this is what happened. Shortly afterwards, I had a premature baby. And then 2000, this is what I listed everything. I mean, everything that went wrong. Then I said to her, you have to go to mom and dad and everybody in our family, put everybody down and ask and said, Clarice said, if she did anything wrong, consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, to each and every one of you, they should just start confessing now so that I should also come and confess and beg for pardon because I don't know where I went wrong. I don't know who I wronged. And then I said to my husband, please, you go do the same in your family because while I was staying with your family, I don't know who I wronged because I don't know where I really went wrong. That's what happens when you are grieving. You don't think straight. You don't reason properly because you are covered with these emotions and you don't actually know when everything will be okay. You don't know. Then there was a point I actually said to myself, look at me. People leave Africa, they come to the Western world, they go to the UK or to the US, then everything seems to be okay with them. But you see people struggling to have their papers, to have their nationality. Then I said, I've never had any problems with having a job. I've never had any problems with having my nationality. Then now I'm having problem with having babies. Easy to fall pregnant. A problem. It takes a minute for a baby to then the next minute the baby is popping out before time. So sometimes you as you are grieving, you kind of look at your life back because everything you are seeing during that period, it seems to be all negative, but it takes time. From my experience, it actually it takes time for you to start seeing the purpose in every, should I say, every negative thing or any challenge that we face in life. And that's what actually happened to me, because at some point I will actually stop a conversation if you start telling me, don't worry, God knows what he's doing. I'll be like, if God knows, why can't he just come down here and tell me why he's doing this to me all the years? Then when I started getting towards the acceptance stage, I started realizing that I've turned things around, and I'm now asking God, please tell me what you want me to do with these experiences, because I don't understand why I've experienced all of this. So I would like you to tell me now what you will want me to do with this. And while I was still at the hospital, while I was admitted, because I stayed in hospital for about 3 weeks, I was having blood transfusion one day and I was actually sleeping. I had a dream that I was in my village in Cameroon, speaking to royal women. Rural, not royal, rural women. Yeah, so I was actually speaking to them, like giving them motivational speech, talking to them and encouraging them that your life does not only have to end in the kitchen or in your farms. So later on, when I started approaching the acceptance stage, I went back to that dream. Since I'd written everything down, so I started questioning, why did I have that dream? Is there a message in that dream? So yeah.
Wow. Because you see, sometimes I believe certain things happen to us so that we can have a story to inspire another person. There is a guy in Ghana who is blind, and this guy is a historian. He can tell you what happens in 1909 on the 5th of December. The guy cannot read, he doesn't have eyes to see.
Wow.
And one day they asked him that, will you like your eyes to be open one day? You know his answer? His answer was no. Because probably if my eyes get open, there is no way I can do the things that I'm doing.
Yes.
And his answer struck me like a tender, because sometimes God put us in a certain position so that we can do certain things in a unique way, that the way we do it will be an inspiration to other people.
Exactly.
And I think these are some of the things probably that has happened to you that has happened to some of us. Now, if you are watching this, I want to encourage you to share this for somebody to have the opportunity to watch this. And also like our page on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But I think from an African setting, I want to use a typical African language, and that is they will be saying witchcraft will be doing you, isn't it?
That's why I had to go back. I had to call my elder sister, and I sent the message through her. Please ask. Maybe somebody is somewhere tying grass, or somebody had taken my undergarment or something while I was still there and kept it somewhere, in those houses. Because someone once said to me, if your enemy can't get to you directly, they will get to you through your child. So so somehow I've always believed in that maybe there's this enemy somewhere who has tried over the years to get to me and has not succeeded, and he or she now is targeting my babies.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yes, in our African culture, in our African mentality, we will attach such incidents or such happenings to a witchcraft, yes, to because they are taboo topics.
Yes.
Yeah, you must have, or you, the lady, you must have done something in your youth with your belly, with your stomach, or you must have wronged someone somewhere, or they even say God is punishing you for your
Exactly.
for the sins you've been committing.
Exactly.
It's really none of the above. And I researched and I looked. In those days of my university, I know myself, and I mean, I don't know what I did wrong, unless somebody did something to me while I was sleeping.
Yes, but I want you to briefly, because when it comes to your autistic son, I want you to talk to me briefly, just be brief about it.
Yeah.
I read something on Facebook that your children were asking, why did God make him this way? And I read your answer and I was like, that is amazing. Can you share that answer with us?
Yes, that was we went to visit my godson. So they were at the back of the car, we were driving along. So he was discussing with his younger sister. So it seems like it's been something at the back of their mind, right? And they've been planning to discuss it with me, but they didn't really know how to put it across. So the two of them now started talking about it. So I overheard and I asked, what are you guys talking about? Then my godson himself, because he's the bigger one, he just said, oh no, nothing. Not I said, no, I think I heard something. You said, why does God? Then the little girl, now, because she was the one who asked, she said, we were just wondering why God made Lesra this way. I said, which way? He has a weird voice, and when you talk to him, he doesn't respond. I said, okay. Then I thought about it and I said, this is not just coming now. They've been thinking about it, they've been worried about it, and yes, and they've actually found a way to put it out to me, but they were not really sure how I was going to take it. That's why they were reluctant in bringing it out. So I said to them, it's okay, you ask anything you do not understand about Lesra, who is like their big brother. So they now felt relaxed and they were comfortable. So I said to them, God makes people differently. We are all different in our own ways, and we are all unique, and we have our own abilities and capabilities and etc. And I said, God makes us in his own image. Some people can talk, some cannot talk, some people walk, some don't, some hear, some do not. So people are different in so many different ways. But I felt like I needed to do more, to talk more to them, and even with other children on that particular topic, because I do believe that if children nowadays, if they know more about things like autism or disability, if they can talk freely, comfortably about these topics, I mean, when in future, when they will be our age, when they'll be at our age, it's going to make a big difference. They will be more knowledgeable on topics like this. There will be less ignorance, and then you won't really have to hear of so much awareness. I have to raise awareness on this issue, have to raise awareness on that issue. We raise awareness because people are very ignorant. Even though you can still raise awareness, but you will not force it into somebody's head, or you will not tell them what they are going to do or how they're supposed to react at a certain point. But I believe that at a younger age, they seem to understand more better than us adults, and they get to accept their peers or their siblings or their cousins or nephews with disabilities, with other forms of disabilities. As long as you give them time, you create an environment where you have to talk to them comfortably, confidently, and in a way that they'll be able to understand. Because that's what I've done since being an autism ambassador. So I usually start with the children because they're our future, right?
Yeah.
If we don't teach them today, tomorrow ignorance will still continue, and people will still not want to talk about disability, about child loss, because it is a taboo, it is emotional. But once we open up these topics with them, our future is going to be quite different from what it is now.
Wow. I want you to concentrate now on emotions. Yeah.
Mhm,
When you are grieving,
mhm.
managing your emotions is very critical.
Yes.
If you are not able to manage your emotions, it can be very catastrophic, especially with your partner.
Yeah.
It can affect your sex life. It can
Mhm,
affect your children. It can
mhm,
affect every aspect of your life. Now,
mhm.
from your experience, how were you able, at a point in time, how were you able to manage your emotions better?
Yeah. At the beginning, I absolutely struggled, but at the point where I picked up, I mean, they say the last straw on the camel's back was when my friend pointed out that you are feeling so much pain, so much hurt because you have ungrieved grief. You have emotions that you've carried along. Then this one has now added to what you were supposed to have sorted out, you were supposed to have dealt with. So what I realized was the awareness. Once you are aware of what you are going through and you are ready to help yourself, because in your grief, it's difficult for somebody else. There are still people who can help you, but you are the one to make that conscious, deliberate decision to get better, to feel better again. Because it can also be like an illness,
Mhm.
because once we've hit that depression stage, it's hard. You need to seek medical help. You need to seek professional help, and then getting a network of people who are supportive around around you. Some of them, you cannot really help it. You cannot stop them from happening to you, but it's knowing what to do when you feel like you get up one morning, you don't want to talk to anyone, you don't want to see anyone. If it means going out for a walk or calling a friend who will take you out, or maybe you go for a cup of coffee or things like that, or something that makes you happy, that's something, anything that can distract you, anything positive that can take your mind off those emotions or take you away from what is causing you the stress at that particular moment in time, it may help. But it was really, really, really difficult,
Wow.
honestly, because when you are grieving, especially when, because they say grief comes with love, right? The more you love, the more you grieve. It's you sit, then you feel this pain. But if somebody asks you, where does it hurt, Clarice? I can't touch, I
Mm,
can't point, I can't tell you where it hurts, but I hurt so much.
mm,
And sometimes you don't even feel like talking to somebody. There were times I just had to switch off
mm,
my phone
mm,
because the last thing is to get somebody to talk to you
Mm,
and tell you God knows what he is doing.
mm,
Your baby's in a better place, and so on and so forth. Sometimes that's not even what you want to hear.
mm,
And to me, I had lost maybe uncles, aunties before, but I'd never lost I never held a baby in my arms. I mean, and watch him take his last breath. So that's one of the difficult moments,
mm,
and going through a traumatic labor as well, then knowing the outcome of that labor, so it traumatizes you for a very long time. You When you're grieving and you're hit by depression, it kind of it numbs your emotions.
mm,
You At some point you feel like you can't feel anything.
mm,
And then when we buried him, I felt like um there's no loss greater than the loss of a baby.
mm,
There's nothing, whatever I lose now, I will not feel it as much as I felt the loss of this baby. So uh, if you're not careful, you develop that attitude of you develop that I don't care attitude. After all, is there anything that will hurt me as much as me losing this baby? So, but during that period, you are hurting. You are hurting because you are grieving. You are depressed, and depression is not really a good thing
mm,
because it affects you in so many ways, even how you feel or how you relate or react towards people. It would take a very special person very close to you to know that you are struggling, because all they may see is, oh, she's always angry, or he's always angry, mood swings, etc., etc. But it would take a special person to know that this mood swings, this anger, is someone crying out for help in a different way.
mm. Wow, wow.
Yeah. So going through grief, it's not really, it's something you cannot avoid because it's part of us being humans. Those emotions, they're part of life,
Mm,
right? But you have to make sure each stage you are at, you don't get stuck at that one particular stage. So you go through your challenges, but aim at accepting your situation. Aim at telling yourself that now this is where I am, this is what
mm,
has happened to me. What do I do from now? Should I stay here crying every single day, getting angry every single day because I've given birth to a baby and I'll never have to see him again? Or should I look at this tragedy in another way, knowing that I will always live with the fact that I had a little baby and he's no longer with me, knowing that he is in heaven, but at the same time, my life has to continue, other things have to continue. And that's where acceptance now comes in. You've accepted your reality, you've accepted that this is your new life and that you will live the rest of your life without that baby, or without
mm,
whatever happened to you. It may still be you are grieving a divorce or the loss of a relationship.
mm,
You will go through those emotions because we are all humans. It will be difficult for you to tell me I wasn't in denial when I lost my baby. I wasn't in denial when I had a divorce, or I wasn't in denial when they diagnosed my baby with autism or with special needs, or I wasn't in denial when they diagnosed me with breast cancer, or I wasn't angry.
mm.
Yes. If somebody is at that stage and they tell you, I didn't feel those emotions, then I'd, I'll just laugh. I'll say, you must be a special person.
Superman. Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
But people go through those emotions differently.
yeah.
People handle them
Mm,
differently.
wow.
Obviously, some individuals say there's no right or wrong way to grieve, but there is a healthy and there is an unhealthy way of grieving. We all know that when you are grieving, you can hit rock bottom, and then you start going into maybe drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, but all those things will only numb your pain. But it won't.
Yes, time is fast spent here, so I'll be very glad if you are brief with me for the next question. Now, in your book, you talked about how people can help and support others who are grieving. Can you
Yeah.
briefly tell us how people can do that? Because in your example, when you were talking, you were saying that people will say, "Oh, God knows best. Your child is in heaven," but you are not going to accept that because you are grieving, and all you need is your child back. What are some of
Yeah.
the appropriate words that people should really tell you?
Okay, thanks for that. Some of the things that I actually picked, it may apply to some individuals, it may not
Mm,
apply to some individuals. It will only, it can actually depend on your mindset as well, and on how you are handling your grief during that period, right? And you can, it supporting can be practical support, like hands-on support, or in what you say.
mm,
For example, one of the things I really stand against is you being in that tragic moment and somebody is telling you, "Oh, do not worry, God cannot give you what you cannot handle."
mm,
I usually say it's better to tell someone God helps you handle what you've been given,
mm,
because you tell someone God does not give you what you cannot handle. So I will start looking back to 2005.
mm,
So I lost my baby and I did this all because God knows that I can handle it. So he
mm, mm,
keeps other people aside, then
mm,
he gives all of them to me because he knows I can handle. I'm not going to handle them. So yes, and then practical support,
mm,
like I mentioned in the book. At times, like people will say, I have a friend who lost someone and they did not know what to say,
mm,
so they stayed away.
mm,
Staying away has killed relationships. Staying away has killed families.
mm,
Staying away will not help. Sometimes that person grieving just needs you there, even if you just need to come and sit there and don't say anything. It also helps. And another practical example which I found, which was really helpful, is us Africans, we like our food,
yeah,
right? We like to cook. We
mm,
can cook
mm,
for Queen Elizabeth
yeah,
and her entire family. So while you are there in the hospital, all our brothers and sisters, all our African brothers and sisters, they will cook all the food and bring to you in the hospital. That's really kind. That's really good. That's the solidarity in our community, right?
mm,
But while you are there at the hospital takes care of you.
mm,
If it's somebody who is at the hospital and has a family, like I did, like I have,
mm,
there are children back home. What I suggested is speak to whoever is taking care of the children. It may be their dad, it may be their auntie or uncle. Speak to them,
mm,
that you can equally prepare that food and bring to them, which is what some of my friends actually did.
mm,
And then there's also a teacher from my boys' school, my boy who is autistic.
mm,
Every weekend she will come and take his uniforms. She'll go and wash them, irons them, and she will bring them back on a Sunday.
mm,
Those are practical tips to help someone
mm,
who is grieving. Another friend of mine actually came one day and she said, "Come on, let's go for a ride. I just wanted to go out of this environment. I just wanted to go out of the house. If your husband is there with the kids, then I'll take you." We went out just for coffee.
mm,
Sometimes you just need to go away from that environment, and at times you need friends, you need a support network. So those are just some of the tips which I mentioned in the book. But telling a woman who has just lost a baby, you are still very young, you still have so many other babies to give birth to, so don't worry, just get over it, and in the next few months you'll be pregnant again.
mm,
It doesn't help during that period, because even if you can have many more babies, you can go on and have 100 babies, but no one baby replaces the one that has gone. Same as if your babies who are alive, or your children who are alive, no one replaces another. The love you have for each and every one of them is unique, it's different.
mm,
So yeah, this is really a topic which us Africans, we really need to talk about it. We need to be open
mm.
about it as well.
Wow. You know, I'm learning every time on this program, and diverse topics, diverse instances. And trust me, I've really learned a lot, especially this last bit. And I think a lot of us are really a victim of that aspect where somebody is grieving and we don't know the right thing to do. And I think this is why I will encourage everybody to really have that book. But there is the last question I want to ask you is,
Yeah.
now, this thought of your loss and your grief will always be coming back to you
Yes.
because it is embedded in your subconscious mind. It is rooted over.
Mm-hmm.
But the question to you now is, how are you able to always keep that smile on your face?
It's that stage of acceptance. And remember, greed comes with passion, it comes with perseverance, right? And you also have resilience. I think resilience is one of the things that has really helped me
Mm,
over these years. The ability to overcome whatever challenge that life throws at you. I've i've been there, and again, giving that time to know, to understand why you are feeling the way you are feeling, or why you are going through what you are going through, really helps. The awareness
mm,
of what is happening in your life, it really helps.
mm,
So yeah, because I have actually seen that once you stay there crying over spilled milk, it will never come back.
mm,
It will never change.
mm,
And I have also learned that you can transform your tragedies
mm,
into anything positive you wanted to be, whatever thing you want to happen. That no matter how sad your story is or your experience is, you look critically within the story or within the journey. There's one positive thing in it. There's something positive.
mm.
Before, if somebody says this to me, I'll say, oh no, which positive? But
Yes,
there are lots,
yes.
lots. Even though what I may cry with one eye, may shed a tear with one eye, but the other eye and the other side of my mouth is smiling, and that smiling on the other side crosses over
Mm,
to the other. The fact that I smile, the fact that I talk or encourage people, motivate people, does not mean that I don't hurt sometimes. The memories do come back, but because I have accepted, and I know that this is my new reality, and I know he is up there. If I tell you I have an image of this little man at 3 years old, would you believe?
wow.
I don't know how that happens, but I've been seeing this little boy coming back to me over since 2017. So he if I was an artist, I would draw a picture of him at 3 years now.
Mm, wow.
So that memory in my mind, yes, it's and one of the things that really puts a smile on my face when I talk about him was the name I gave him was Davy Jace. Davy is David,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Jace, and it's cherished beloved healer.
Wow.
If you know the meaning of David in the Bible,
Mm,
yeah.
wow.
So you remember how David
Mm,
David fought and killed Goliath?
mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. Wow.
mhm.
Wow.
So no matter what challenges we go through, we would always smile if we decide to. It is our decision.
Mm,
Nobody. You can get help from your doctor, and they put your medications because of depression. They can ask you to go for counseling. You can still go for that counseling, and the person there will talk
mm,
from morning till evening. Once you've not made up your mind to step out, or to move, or to look at your experience in a different way, with a different eye, or with a different mindset, you will not still be okay.
wow.
So it's a conscious decision that I am going to be better.
Mm.
I am going to use my experience for the benefit of others. And I've come to learn that every experience lived is valuable, it is worthy, and it has the power to transform lives.
Now,
And that's
briefly,
exactly what I'm doing.
yeah, briefly, Anybody that is watching us and they are going through a similar situation or the same situation, somebody might be watching this video the next 10 years and they will be passing through the same situation. What are you going to tell them?
Do not get shut down. That's one of the things. Do not. You write, make sure you journal as well, which I think helped me. But the most important thing is that do not get shut down. Do not allow anyone or anybody to shut you down, because once they start saying those words, maybe something that you did that God is punishing you, at some point you start believing, and then it comes in with shame, because you start thinking all these things over the years, then shame starts coming in. But I will say, do not let anyone shut you down, and do not shut yourself down. If you can speak out, speak. If you can write, write. But whatever emotions you are going through, have an open mind, have a broad mind, that you will get better very soon.
Wow.
And you will live your life as you want it, as you will love it to be, because it's a very dark place, grieving. Because the unfortunate thing is that not everyone will understand that you are grieving, unless it's someone who really, really knows you and knows a journey or what you are going through. And it's bad if nobody understands you, that whatever you are feeling or however you are reacting may be because of grief. Not everyone will understand that. But it is your responsibility to make yourself better, to feel better. And we move forward with our grief. We do not move on, as some people will say.
Wow. 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 What a wonderful discussion and what a story that is. Now, before I go, let me read some few comments here. I've got Killian. She says, I don't know whether it's a he or she. Yes, it's about time that people tune in for the book. Then Maria says, hey, see Mama Sisi Ben. Then Emilian Grace says, hi, my people. She also says, blessing, Oscar Bimpong. Blessing to you too. And he says, blessing, darling Claris. I'm here with my kappa. Maria say was laughing. Then Emilia said, we've got a great Oscar. You are an inspiration. Claris, your voice has a huge audience, and I really agree with that. Your voice has got a very huge audience, because what has happened to you has happened to countless women across the globe, meaning that your market is so huge. And I believe that a lot of people should get the opportunity to hear you speak about this. Really transform a lot of women, including men. Because as you said, if the women are grieving, the men are also grieving. So
yes, and one thing about the men is I would really like our men to also speak up when they are grieving. I know that it's also hard because they have to be strong. Like, well, we say they have to be strong for the family, and in so being strong for the family, for the rest of the family, they find it difficult now to express their own grief. So sometimes you don't actually know when or how they are grieving. But men also, you guys, you have to give yourself time to grieve as well.
They say the African man only cries in the room, not outside. So we have our own way of really grieving. Then I've got Sandra Wodi giving thumbs up. Nikki C say yes. Nikki say absolutely. Killian says the guy with the little umbrella. Then she also said beautiful, resilient woman. Emilian says Claris had the best mom award a while ago. And she also says after the crashing comes the oil. Go girl. And I have got Ali saying, I'm glad I tune in. I have never thought of people at home when someone is at the hospital. Thanks for the explanation. Then Georgina S. Bimpon says, that is a sister from another mother, says, great interview, bro. Then Ako says, true inspiration. Please, if you are watching us, we want you to share this for somebody to have an opportunity to watch. Share it to different groups and pages. And this is what this platform is all about. We are giving our own African people in diaspora in Africa to share their stories in their own ways. We are not waiting for 5 years or 10 years for Claris to go get the opportunity to go to CNN. This is our own CNN here, and we need to support it in our own small way. How do you support? Share this, like our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and always be here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for powerful discussions like this. I have always said that the African people, we are so geared to politics, entertainment, and sport to the detriment of knowledge. 21st century, 2021, we are taking over with a knowledge-based economy, and it is starting from this platform. That is, we are here to share knowledge. The comedy and entertainment is too much. It is time for us to seek knowledge, for us to really get to where we want to be in life. And trust me,
yes,
somebody needs to watch this interview, because this is an amazing story that the world needs to hear. A powerful story that epitomes from grief to great. And the title of your book is on point, to the extent that I think you need to even bring a second version of this book. Because
there is a second version.
Yes, and it is about time for us to support our own. We need to learn to support our own. If Claris is doing something and you are in a position to support, go and support Claris. When we talk about support, people only think about money. Money is only one of the support you can give anybody. One of the support you can even give Claris is to every month call Claris to ask, how are you doing and with your children? These are all part of the healing process. We need to start to be united as a family. The African people are so divided, and it is about time we learn the basics of life that brings success. Because if Claris wins, trust me, he is going to win with a lot of people, not her alone. And the more Claris goes up, he goes up with some people. So Claris alone, being a winner, will bring a lot of winners along with it. Why can't we work together as people and work together to build the Africa we need, to build the economy we need, to build the life that we need? It all starts from me and you trying to do the small things that can help us to succeed. And the time starts now. The time starts that we work together, we win together. Somebody might say, why should I share his page? When he makes it, it's only him. That is a divided mindset. When you share and this message gets to one woman that gets healing, that is far better than 1,000 people watching this and nobody gets healing. So it's about time we do the small things, not thinking about what that person is going to get out of it, but what that person receiving is going to get out of it. And I believe tonight's discussion is one of the best that I've had. It's emotional, but the ending story is great. Because the ending is, if the ending would have been that Claris is now at the hospital being treated for depression, she will not be sitting here sharing the story. She has overcome an obstacle. And that is why we need to learn from these things. Yours might not be losing your child, but yours might be every job that you get sacked and you have given up. Probably your next job that you get is going to be the best you have ever had. You just don't need to give up. You need to always push to the next level. And trust me, that is how one day you will have a story to share. I always say this, a lot of people wants to hold the mic, but they don't have a story. Now, when you give Claris the mic, she has got a story to share. My question is, what is your story? Your story should inspire somebody to succeed. Claris, do you know why I really connect with you in terms of what you have shared? Because I have also got a 10-year-old autistic child. And trust me, we have passed through enough as a family for us to get to this stage. And trust me, even sometimes we still ask the question, God, why us? Because sometimes when I see a lot of young children that are walking about normal, when I take my child to church and every child is sitting down and my child is jumping, sometimes I ask myself, why me? We are still even healing.
Yeah.
It is never easy, but I believe it's achievable because we are here to share this story.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate your story.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And have a good evening. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you.
Wow. Before I go, I just want to mention a few of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Trinity Inspire Consultancy, your business training and consulting firm. And they also work with students in terms of their personal development in colleges, universities, and second cycle institutions. ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says if you are stranded at the port, call them and they will sort you out. ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched their USSD code, and that is *270#. Just dial it on your phone and register for ZPay mobile money. Then Wheels for Sure, your car leasing for every credit based in the UK. Wheels for Sure says it doesn't matter your credit history, you can walk out of the garage with a car of your choice. If you want to contact any of our sponsors, the numbers are scrolling on the screen. Just take it and contact them. I always say that if you mention T2I TV UK, you are more likely to get a very good deal. When you contact Wheels for Sure, quote T2I 2020, and you will get a very good deal. I've got one last comment here, and Ali says, let's support our own. Yes, I said that we need to. And he also said, great job, bro, and great interview. Aku Amu says, please share and don't forget the book is now available on Amazon. Now, where can somebody get the book if they need one? And if you can put your contact details, if you are comfortable with it, you can put your contact details.
Yeah. Yeah, as my in Cameroon, in my village, we call her Mbanya. She's my brother-in-law's wife. So as she says, the book is available on Amazon, both a hard copy and the e-copy as well. You can get an autographed copy if you contact me on my number, which I'll put here, or through PayPal. Yeah.
Wow. And what is your last word to everyone that is watching us?
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Whatever you go through in life, endeavor to be an overcomer. Because we've got grit. We all are resilient. There's one thing which I actually learned is nowadays teachers, professors, they do no longer compare students just because they are intelligent or because someone is beautiful or talented. They do not say this person is better than the other, or intelligence is not only based on the IQ. Grit is the new norm.
Wow.
And without grit, you cannot succeed.
Wow.
Without grit, you cannot persevere. And what have you?
Wow.
So thank you so much.
Wow. I always say that the people that fail are those that see a locked door and they walk away. Those that succeed is to find a way, it doesn't matter how, to get to that room they want to get. If you fall, you have to rise. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. Your ability to rise is what is going to give you that grit. And that is what is going to cause you to stand out among men. From today, learn to have that grit. Learn to persist. I always say that persistence is the powerful overriding factor that can only overcome failure. Because the moment failure surfaces in your life, if you are a persistent person, persistence will override it. you need to have that persistent spirit. And that is the only way. When given a mic, you have a story to share. Thanks for everyone that has been watching us. God will bless you. We've really had a very powerful discussion. Share this to the world. And on Thursday, we are here for another powerful discussion. 8 p.m. GMT, 9 p.m. Cameroon time. You can't afford to miss it because now I've got so many Cameroon fans on this page. Like the page and subscribe to our channel. It's all about education. It's all about mindset change. It's all about empowering you to believe that it can be done. God richly bless you, and bye-bye to everyone. And thank you once again, Claris, for your time.
Thank you.